Hi everyone, thanks for dropping by and for returning to the old world. Today, Stuff What I Painted, November 2022. My monthly vlog looking at hobby progress over the previous month. This will, however, be the last one of 2022, so there's not going to be an update for December, and I'll probably pick this up again from the end of January next year. So, without further ado, what have I been up to? Well, this month, having had the freedom to paint practically anything I wanted, for those of you interested in the background to this, do check out the October video where I talk around how I've managed to complete my goals for the wargaming year. This has given me, as I say, quite a bit of freedom over what I wanted to do, things that I just had the urge to do, or stuff that had been looking at me a bit too long from the pile of shame. So let's start off with some fantasy. Here we have a battery of artillery for my dwarves. I believe these dwarves are in 12mm. They're made by Callistra from their Hordes and Heroes range. Got a few bases of these made up. They are based for the Warband game, which is made by, or certainly sold by, Pendraken. Quite nice, easy to paint models. I can see now there's a camera on it, a few strands of glue, so I'll need to tidy those up, but something a little bit different to get started, but still feeding into the general fantasy vibe. Sticking with the fantasy vibe, we have the third of my 3 Bretonnian squires armed with bows. With hindsight, and we're looking years and years of hindsight, it would have been nice to have picked up a second pack at the time so I could do a full unit of them. I only got 3, so I'll need to make good that unit with other models if I want a full unit of archers for my Imperial forces with those models in them. And then we have Valmir van Rolkov, the Elector Count of Ostland. This is a very old miniature made by Games Workshop. The old plastic horse and muscle model. Now, I've done a video previously saying around I don't really use special characters. That's still true. I've got no real intention to use him as Valmir, but he could be a general or some other kind of hero. I've had him for a long, long time, never got round to painting him, so there you go. Did notice when I was reminding myself what the name of this model actually was, that some figures of this nature were up for sale on eBay for £40-50, which seems quite a frightening amount of money for one small model. But there you go. I have one of these chaps now ready and painted, ready to take part in any games of Warhammer I have when the game is released. Moving on to the sci-fi projects, here we have a couple of models for my Chaos Space Marines army. Now the guy with the chain is a Chaos Space Marine Terminator, armed with a cursed weapon and a bolter. He is made out of bits of Loyalist Space Marine Terminator and a couple of Orc parts. From when I previously made up some extra Terminators, I had a couple of bits left over, so I've used those to make this chappy. And I had found that in preparing my latest list using these folks, I hadn't got enough accursed weapons for a legal squad. So here we go. I've managed to kit bash him. He's on just some small 40mm round bases. I say small, they've not got the depth of the Games Workshop one, so I've just glued 2 of them together to get the right level of height. And this chap here, he is a Master of Executions, probably given away by the massive axe. Again, he's built out of a mixture of Loyalist Marine legs, Terminator legs that is, an Orc boy body. This is actually the big shooter body, so it normally comes with a backpack, but he's got a mutated dwarf head growing out of him. There is a Primaris arm with a spike. He's from a Savage Orc Boar Boy weapon, and then the axe comes from an orc knob. So I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly how choppy he'll be on the tabletop. Now we really are moving on to the stuff I painted just because. And the just because here is, with 10th edition seemingly coming around the corner and almost certainly being released next year, I thought perhaps I ought to do some work on my Indomitus Necrons. So here we are for Scarab bases. Really straightforward paint job. Basically 2 different types of metal. So the stuff that's blue is painted with Iron Hands steel for that shiny silver effect. I've gone over it with a contrast blue and then used Leadbelcher on the other exposed metal and then given it a brown wash. Bit of green for the glowy bits and job done. Basing is the City Rebel range from Geek Gaming Scenics. Rounding off the offering for this month, a few more Necrons, a couple of Destroyers and a character. Same paint scheme, but with white for the skulls. I really like the way that comes out and how the white pops against the blue and the darker base. It gives a slightly eerie effect, which is exactly what I was looking for. I've just got the Necron Warriors to do and a vehicle, I think. They will probably take some time to get off the paint desk, however, because quite frankly, painting vast numbers of the same thing, particularly Necrons, I don't find the most interesting. They're nice to do in small numbers. They look good when they're finished. It's just the process of getting there. They're a model. I really have to be in the right mood to paint. So doubtlessly they will be rocking up at some point, but just not necessarily anytime soon. So that's it for this month. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you're working on any particular project, let me know in the comments down below. Be interesting to see what you guys are working on. If you have enjoyed this video and you've been watching others that you've liked the content of and you want to stay abreast of what's going on, I normally release videos UK time, 6 o'clock on a Friday, some ad hoc videos as well. Do subscribe and hit the notify bell if you want to be kept abreast of what's going on. Otherwise, thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you have a great day. This is Return to the Old World, and I'll see you next time.